In example number 8, it says here solve cosine 2x plus 3 sine x minus 2 equals 0. Put in your mind, in order to solve trigonometric equation should be in the same trigonometric function. يعني cosine 2x sine x, we cannot solve this trigonometric equation in this part. We have to convert one of them to be the other one. We have formulas for cosine 2x. Mainly we have 3 formulas for cosine 2x. If you can remember, cosine 2x equals cosine square x minus sine square x minus sine square x. The second one, 2 cosine square x minus 1. The third one, 1 minus 2 sine square x. Which one we have to use here? I think the third one. Why? Because we have here sine. So we need to write this equation in terms of sine. So let's take the last one. And do not take the first one. Take the last one. If you take the first one also, it's fine. Yani we can convert it to be in terms of sine, but this one is easier. So I'm gonna replace cosine 2x to be 1 minus 2 sine square x plus 3 sine x minus 2 equals 0. Now rearrange. So negative 2 sine square x plus 3 sine x. Here 1 minus 2 negative 1 equals 0. Multiply by negative 1. So 2 sine square x minus 3 sine x plus 1 equals 0. This is like yesterday. So we can say this is, let's replace sine x to by. Sine x to by. So I'm gonna write here 2y square minus 3y plus 1 equals 0. In order to factor this equation, 2y square, 2y and 2y, then the sign negative, multiply what gives positive, multiply by negative, the sign here negative, the same, negative times negative equals positive, then 2 multiplied by 1 equals 2, 2 and 1. Now we need to divide by 2, so divide this by 2, divide this by 2, so it becomes 1. So I'm gonna write here y minus 1 and 2y minus 1 equals 0. So y minus 1 equals 0, it means y equals 1. 2y minus 1 equals 0, it means y equals half. Now replace again y to be sine x, so sine x equals 1 and sine x equals 1 over 2. Sine x equals 1, you can use the calculator, shift to sine 1, shift to sine 1, x is 90. So x here equals 90, which is pi over 2. The other one, sine x equals half, sine x is positive. So x in one of two quadrants, first quadrant or second quadrant, shift to sine half, the angle x equals 30. In the first quadrant, the angle is the same one, which is 30. In the second quadrant, the angle equals 180 minus theta. So 180 minus 30 equals 150. And 150, this is 30, which is pi over 6. And this is 5 pi over 6. So the solution here for this equation, the solution, we have pi over 2. We have pi over 6. And we have 5 pi over 6. Now on your own solve on your own solve cosine 2x plus sine x equals 0 given x more than or equal 0 less than 2 pi. On your own, solve cosine 2x plus sine x equals 0. Cosine 2x plus sine x equals 0. In example number 9, it says sine, solve the equation. Sine x cosine x equals half. Sine x cosine x equals half, given x from 0, x more than or equal 0, less than 2 pi. Also now we need to convert one of them to be the other one. One of them to be the other one. So we have here sine x multiplied by cosine x equals half. So if you can remember this formula, sine 2x equals 2 sine x cosine x. Sine 2x equals 2 sine x cosine x. This is sine 2x. We don't have here 2, so we can multiply. Just multiply by 2. Multiply each side by 2. So multiply here by 2. I'm going to say 2 sine x cosine x equals half multiplied by 2 equals what? Equals 1. So 2 sine x cosine x. 2 sine x cosine x gives sine 2x equals 1. Sine 2x equals 1. 1 shift sine 1. We're going to get the angle here equals pi over 2, 90. So 2x equals pi over 2. 2x equals pi over 2. And do not forget to add the period. If you can remember when I explained this one, I said if you have here multiple for the angle, add the period. What is the period here? The period equals 2n pi. 2n pi. And now divide each by 2. I'm going to divide here by 2. Divide here by 2. And divide here by 2. So we are going to get here x equals pi over 4 plus n pi. Pi over 4 plus n pi. Now let's do substitution. For n equals 0, we are going to get x equals pi over 4 plus 0 pi, which is pi over 4. Let's replace n equals 1. So x equals pi over 4 plus 1 pi equals 5 pi over 4. Let's replace n to be 2. X equals pi over 4 plus 2 pi. This is rejected, refused, or not refused. It's outside the interval, the given interval for x. X is from 0 to 2 pi. We have here, this is more than 2 pi. So the solution for this equation, the solution equals pi over 4 and 5 pi over 4. The solution equals pi over 4, which is 45, and 5 pi over 4. On your own, on your own, solve. On your own, solve sine x cosine x equals negative half. Sine x cosine x equals negative half, given x more than or equal 0, less than 2 pi. Solve this question and send it on the WhatsApp group.